Hello everyone, this is Dion Soul. I hope everyone is doing well. And as you see before you, we're looking at a add-on for Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020 called NeoFly. And this NeoFly program allows you to be able to have purpose for your flights. Like mission generator for X-Plane and flight jobs and FS economy, but this right here is for Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. And what's cool about this is you have different jobs and you have a little bit more interaction between the program and yourself as the pilot. You can click on this little icon right here, which takes you over to their web page to be able to, in this case, I'll just click on it so you know where to go to get it, and I'll have the description, or I'll have the website URL in the description down below. But when you go over to the website, here is the website. I'm not even going to try to pronounce this, but it's this guy who's going to tell you about it and everything, and it's free. Seems to be not a problem so far. It's XP based, so in other words, as you do flights, you will get you'll cross achievements. And once you get the achievements, you'll be able to upgrade airplanes and that sort of thing. And this tells you all about it. And you can go to this website up here, and you can download it. The current version, as of this recording, is version 3.31, and it looks like it's right now. It's at the phase where it's getting constantly updated, either daily or every other day. But until it's got a get started thing that tells you all about it and all this sort of thing and what kind of missions you can get. It's nice. What I like about this one is you got different missions. You got cargo, passenger, express delivery. You get ambulance and medevac type missions, VIP transport, sensitive cargo, pizza delivery, which I have. That's where you drop into a dead zone, where you've got somebody wanting you to fly to a middle of nowhere. And this one particular pizza one is really going to be good once helicopters are introduced in Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. And then the secret missions are usually night fly missions. So those missions will become available at nighttime if you have the proper XP and ranking abilities. And you guys, of course, you got your ranking abilities from cadets, second officer, first officer, captain, senior captain, and it just all, like I said, the missions, when you get to captain, then those pizza deliveries become available. When you're first officer, VIPs become available, and this is based on XP gained. So it's XP, it's experience points based. Qualifications, you have the ability, once you get a certain XP, then you're able to have option to be able to qualify to get faster and bigger aircraft from Alpha, Beta, Charlie, Delta, Echo, and Foxtrot are the versions, and you can see right here a little bit as he's talking about it. But so what we're going to do is we're going to jump back over here to this page. So I've already installed it. What I actually did is, you can see it right here, I installed it onto my desktop right now. And then with my desktop, I can just click on it. You can either move it to any directory you want to, but in my case, I'm just going to leave it on my desktop for right now and just right click and drag and just put the shortcut on my desktop. So then that way, I'll just throw this over here out of the way just to get it out of my way. And now I got my shortcut that I can click on when I'm ready to go. Or if I want to move it down in here and put it on my my par down here, I can click on it down here at the bottom, whatever you want to do. But at any rate, so this is what you got, and this is what you start out with. You get this. You start out search, where you can immediately search what area, where you want to get jobs at. But what I do is I come over here and migrate over here to the hangar to see what is available. And what you get right off the bat when you start, I don't think this is random. I think it defaults at the Cessna Skyhawk G1000, the Asobo G1000. Me personally, that's fine, but there is a workaround that he does not have the available to do so, and I'll tell you about it here in just a minute. You can click on this and you can do different options where repair the hull. So if you land pretty rough, you'll have to repair your hull, overhaul the engine when it gets to the TBO, and then bring the pilot to the location. So let's say that you want to instantly you landed somewhere and then you want to start in a different area, you can bring the pilot's location over there. It's probably going to cost you. That's something new that he just added today here, the 4th of October of 2020. And then of course you can sell your aircraft. Now when you go to sell your aircraft, it's going to give you this message saying, sorry, you cannot sell your last aircraft. When you have multiple aircrafts, then of course you can start selling them and trade them and everything else. Of course, I'm going to be flying in North America because that's my home base area, and then logs will start to accumulate as you go down, as you start flying. And then here's where I was talking about the different airports, and then you pass the tests that you take at when you get enough XP that this becomes available to you, or enough cash. I don't remember if it's XP or cash. I think it's XP. I could be wrong on that assessment. And then tracking is when you start your career. You'll be bouncing between search and tracking for most of the operation of this, and I'll show you how to use this here in a minute. But here's a little sneaky snake that I'm going to teach you guys what to do on this that the developer probably doesn't want you to do. I don't want to start out in the G1000. In order to keep it semi-real, you have to start with the Alpha class, or the Category A, the Alpha class aircraft, which means single piston airplanes. Well, I don't necessarily want to start out in a G1000, so I'm going to show you how to start to a different one. So let's go forward with that. Okay, so this is what you do: is you click on the wherever you installed the directory for the program. Well, matter of fact, you probably want to close this program out here right now. So we'll go ahead and close it out right now, and we'll go ahead and open up the directory that this shortcut's coming from, which in this case is on my desktop here. So we'll double click on it. We're going to bring this up here, and you see all the data. You see the sim connect stuff right here, allow it to connect, and you can see a text with the latest updates, blah blah blah, all this stuff. But what you really want is you go over here to database, and you can see right now that over this DB folder, which is database folder, you can see reference aircraft. And in my case, you could use Notepad, but I do have I'm using actually Notepad. Here's all the aircraft that the developer has put in. That's mostly the out-of-the-box aircraft, and you see how the dollar amounts. This is the Airbus 320. F is the category of the aircraft. The 0, 50, 100, 100, and they're all separated by commas. I think 50 is the amount of fuel that's in there out of the box, and then the integrity, the airframe integrity, and then the I forgot what this one was, to be honest, but it's 100%. And then how much it costs, which in this case is going to be $48 million. I guess that's what that is. Is that right? $48 million. There's three zeros. Yeah, $48 million. And then, and so that's the format of how this is. Here's a G58, which is a Bravo class aircraft. Because you're starting out with A's, all these Bravos and anything else you don't care about. I don't want to start in with the the Cessna G1000 that we start off with. What I want to start out with is with in this case, the most bang for your buck out of the box is going to be the Bonanza G36, because that one right there is going to give you the most cargo space and the most passenger capacity. So this is what I'm going to call the easy level. I'm starting out with the easy level. Now, if I want to start out with the hard level, then I would go down here to the Savage Cub, or the X Cub or whatever, and start out with an airplane that's the hard level, and then work your way up there. It just depends on what you want to go. But today, for this demonstration, we're going to go with Mr. Easy. So we're going to select that, just left click and drag with Notepad, and then copy. So now I'm going to copy that, and then we'll go ahead and get rid of it, and then we'll go ahead and go back up. And we'll go over here to user. Now when you go over here to user, let me do that again because I kind of did that kind of fast. We were here in the database folder that we got the information from, and that we opened this using Notepad. So let's go up one section, and then here we got the sounds and blah 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 and all this other stuff, but the user is you. Now when you do updates for this thing, I highly recommend that you back up your user this user folder. Just right click and copy and paste or whatever. But that for this purposes, for this particular tutorial, or what I'm showing you guys, we don't want to do that because it will just mess up the previous thing that I just did. So we'll just double click on this and bring this up. Now you got career and you got hangar. Now because in career mode you can see my current pilot location is nothing yet because I haven't started anything yet. But if you really want to, you can actually go in here and cheat and put this in here. You can actually cheat with a bunch of cash. You can cheat at how many hit points, but that's kind of dumb in my opinion. You can also cheat here by actually if I want to put in all these categories true, then all of a sudden I can fly anything right out of the box. Again, cheating. So I don't recommend that, but you do you. I'm not going to hold anything against it, but in my case, for these purposes here, that's what this is. This is your profile of what you start with. That's why there's nothing here. So, just telling you what that is. When you right click on the one that we're actually going to modify here, which is the hangar text. When you bring in the hangar text here, you can see is the sky. This is what it started off with, and like we saw. And so now what I'm doing is I'm just going to right click and copy because I had the cursor right below, and you can see that all the details on the information are the same except for the very end, which is the cost. So what you do is you just get rid of the cost, put a 0 in there, and then in my case what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my cursor right in front of this bonanza right here, and then I'm just going to rewrite over everything else. Now what I have done is I eliminated my starting aircraft, and now I put the bonanza as my starting aircraft. Then you just go file and then save. Now you've saved it. So now what's going to happen inside your user folder here, again, like I said before, back up this before you do anything. Now when you start the program, now we're going to have the G58 already available to us. So now we're going to go ahead and start the program now. And it's going to say this is your first time. Of course, it went on to another screen, but you guys didn't see that. But now if I migrate over here to my hangar, lo and behold, looky there. Now I got the G58. Now what I could do, it says now the damage, I think this is the damage ratio. If I start playing around with those numbers that you saw 100%, you would see this change. And you would see and if you saw a 50 there, that tells you 50% fuel is in the airplane. I could have changed that to 100, and I'd have 100% fuel in the start. But because this is a starting aircraft, that's why you see the 0 there. And I just try to make it the same as possible. And you see the engine is 100%, and the hull is 100%. So we are good to go there, and so we are set to start using this thing with the G58. Pretty simple, huh? So where are we going to start? Well, because I live in the Palmdale, Lancaster area here in Southern California, my home base is KWJF in Lancaster, California. So what I am going to do is I'm going to put in KWJF, and then I'm going to hit search. And then what it's going to do is it's going to basically randomly generate flights for me to leave KWJF. See, these are all the places that I can go. Now, I haven't done it yet because this is the latest build, but it did on version 1.3.0. I did a flight here from KWJF down to Cable. In the sim, if you look at Cable in the sim, when you fly to Cable, which is next to Pomona area, it's actually Laverne, California, you'll see a bunch of X's. Camera's right here. Sorry, a bunch of X's, and when you see the X's, that usually indicates that airport, that runway, is not fit for you to land on. Why Microsoft Flight Simulator's got it set up that way, I don't know, because in the real world, Cable, KCCB, is still around, and it's still a functioning airport. Now, if you go to other airports that are not open, then that's a different story. But anyway, so this is the the reason why I'm bringing this up is because what happened was when I go to search again KWJF, it would keep on defaulting back to KCCB, and I couldn't get around it, and I couldn't get new flights from KWJF. So to get around the problem, at least as of version 1.3.0, I just stopped flying there. I just stopped flying to, you know, KCCB, and I'm bringing that up in case you run into that problem. Hopefully you've had your user file backed up before you did that flight, so then that way you can just reload from where you left off. There's not an option here that I would ask the developer to put in, is an ability to be able to back up your user folder or your user data. Instead of you just having to do it manually, you just have a button here somewhere where it says, would you like to back up your data, or have it automatically back up and have two copies of it, a previous one and the latest one, so then that way that kind of scenario doesn't happen again for you. You can always restore from your previous version, and then that way you don't have that problem. Now, that just happened to me, and that's just what I found. But anyway, so we got all these jobs that we can go do. Now, what's interesting is, okay, KWJF is up here. Okay, let me go over here and get to Lancaster, California. Okay, there's Palmdale right there. There's KWJF right there. There is my home base. Now, what I want to do is right now I want to find can't even talk. I want to find jobs in the area that I can get back to KWJF. So what I do is I will go down here and say, okay, let's go ahead and go KPMD, which is Palmdale, which is just right here. And you can see Palmdale, I got one from here to here, which is a super secret flight or a night flight that I am not registered to be able to do yet. So I can't do that particular flight that you see, the little secret agent guy is sitting right there. But I'm going to go ahead and search from Palmdale. Now it just brought up all the jobs from Palmdale. Now I can look through here, and you see right now I have a job right here that says from Palmdale to KWJF. But you can see I can't fly to that yet because I don't meet the criteria that's needed in order for me to do that, it looks like. And I don't see any other flights, and you can sort it by distance. Matter of fact, we've got 1, 2, 3 jobs, and all 3 jobs are not available to me to be able to fly there. So right now, I cannot fly from if I fly that first initial job to here, I don't have a way to get back. So now what I will do is I will go to or let's go to L71, which is going to be California City. Now, what you're seeing a pattern develop here is that I know the area. I know, my area that I fly around. And so what's important to me is being able to find jobs that I can fly back from. When I fly to a location, I want to be able to fly back to. That kind of thing. So right now, L71 has got me flying everywhere. I do have one flight, and I do have it available. So now the question is, okay, now that I've got one from L71 back to KWJF that I can fly with my current skill set, now I need to go back to KWJF and see if I have something to L71. Okay, so now from KWJF to L71, I got a hit. Now we'll go ahead and do our distance thing. Make sure our distance thing is set. So we have 2 to L71. One I can do. It's a cargo job, and it's only going to give me $2,500. Yeah, I don't have very much money. It doesn't pay a lot, but at least I have now a pathway to fly from KWJF, Lancaster, California to L71, and then back from L71. Now, a little super secret information here. If you come over here and you go back to, actually, let me close that back out and let me minimize this. If you go back to the folder where this program resides and you go into the database, now you see it populated all the jobs in the market for the jobs that I just searched for. So here is the L71 text, and you can see that KWJF is in the text right here, which is telling me that this got jobs. And if you actually want to parse this out, if you go to the bin, now the bin, if you right click, I have Notepad++. Notepad++ is highly recommended for those of you. It's free, but it allows you to be able to edit stuff that's beyond just a normal TXT file. Notepad++, I highly recommend. So when I do Notepad++, if you go through all this BS, which is kind of ridiculous, but you can see L71, this tells you, this right here, this little area right here is L71's location, and then you can see all the other ones over here. Here's L71 to PMD, and we go down here and we should find Lancaster. Here's Lancaster. Here's line number 18. Here's Lancaster right there, and it tells you about the job. And I don't have word wrap in here, but it tells you all about the job, where everything is. It actually tells you it's a freight job. It tells you it gives you all kinds of information. But bottom line is, it saves the data, so you know. Just giving you a heads up of where it all is, and it's in the database. And then when you refresh, it'll probably change it every once a day or once every other day or whatever. And that's the bin file that actually is the same thing. That bin file is the same thing as what this is right here. So what I have done is to sum up, is I have actually created a way to be able to go back and forth. Now it'd be nice if the developer would have the ability to say, hey, I want to fly from KWJF to L71, and then it would populate jobs for me to go back and forth so I don't lose money. Because right now, if I didn't do this trick by showing what I just showed you guys do right now, then I would fly to, let's say I fly down here to Pomona right here. Okay, well now I flow down here to Pomona. Now I don't know if I'm going to have a job to get back from Pomona back to KWJF. The only time that this is important is, let's say it's late in the day in your Microsoft Flight Simulator session, and you just want to get back to your home base, and then you want to go to sleep for the night. Or if you want to stay there, you could stay there and simulate that you're at a hotel room, but wherever. But you could do that, but it would be nice to be able to have the ability, instead of doing the long way that I just showed you, to be able to go back to get back to KWJF. So here is KPOC, which is Pomona, I believe. So let's go ahead and put in KPOC, which I believe is Pomona, California, and we'll let it populate out here. It'll take a minute or two. And there it goes. Now that'll go faster because my computer is slower than Moses' toes. But you can see, as we're scrolling down here, I do not see any jobs going back to Lancaster. If it's late in the day and I just want to do a short back and forth flight, that's a strategy that you can do. Now, granted, you can also, as a side benefit of doing all this pre-doing, is it actually puts in all the airplanes in the area of that airport that are for sale. So let's say that you've done flights, and now I want to step up, and KWJF, my home base, doesn't have the airplane I want. I want a King Air 350. You can go ahead and just go because Van Nuys, I know from personal experience that Van Nuys Airport, KVNY, is a larger airport. There might be a King Air 350 sitting there for sale. So let's find out. There's a Citation for sale, but there is no King Air 350 for sale. So let's go ahead and go over here to Burbank. So you can go like this. You can do this strategy as well. Is just start hunting around when you get to that point to find, airports that's going to have the airplane that you're going to want. Okay, Burbank here is loaded up, and they got a Grand Caravan sitting here, and that's it. So they don't have the King Air. But you can see, we can go on and on. You can just use that pathway pattern to be able to, you know, get the airplanes, find the airplanes that you want when you get to that level or get to that point that you can get into a Charlie class or a Charlie level or Charlie class aircraft. So anyway, that's kind of a rundown of this NeoFlight, and I'm sure there's more things that you'll learn just by trial and error and learning. And but to start out with, that was my super secret tip, being able to start out in a higher, you know, if you want to start with a bigger airplane with more passengers and then go from there, you can do that. Or if you want to start hardcore, then just pick an airplane, go through the procedure, and just go through the process that you saw in the start of this video in how to start out what airplane you want. Now, I don't recommend you loading yourself up with a B-class airplane and then setting yourself up like you simulated getting to the B-class level. Start out, and work your way up. You know, that's how I do it, and that way you earn that ability. But you can do what you want. You know, it's there's no judging here. You do what you want. If you want to cheat, cheat. It's just a simulation anyway. It's not like you're hurting anybody. The only person you're hurting is yourself anyway if you choose to cheat. So, you know, whatever. Some people can make the argument saying, Dion, you're cheating right now by starting out with an easier airplane, and I can't say otherwise. You're right. You know, I am cheating by starting out with the Asobo Bonanza, because that's the highest level that you can get. Now, of course, if you buy the let's say the Coronado, what's that airplane? Coronado. Crap! I'm having a brain fart. What you call the damn thing? The Mooney. If you buy the Mooney is not in the database of the aircraft. So you're going to have to kind of mimic what you see and just kind of guess on what you would want. I know in the real world, if you buy a Mooney, I think they're right around $700,000. But for the purpose of this guy, this product, you're probably going to want to knock that price down a lot less. Maybe go into controller.com and see what a used one is, and just, even though it's going to be brand new, use the used price. Or if a used one, you could probably, if you really want to get real crazy, you could probably say, okay, well, this airplane is 20 years old. It's a brand new one we know is $700,000. Take $700,000 divided by the 20 and, you know, depreciate it out that way, or come up with some kind of mathematical formula to get it more in line, and then in turn have it being valued less. In turn would be a way to be able to make it fall in line with the rest of the airplanes in NeoFly, you know, something like that, you know, some mathematical formula that way. So anyway, guys, so this is my little synopsis of my little cheating trip right here for NeoFly. And so the next video I'm going to do is actually flying in it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this little tutorial thing, and we will see you guys in the air with NeoFly. Take care, guys. Bye. Alrighty, so we are back, and I went ahead and chose the flight that we're going to do. We're going to carry 256 pounds, no passengers, from Palmdale or Lancaster, California, KWJF to L71. We are in the Bonanza. Fuel-wise and loadout-wise, I learned something off camera, and I thought this is another thing that needs to share. So here we are looking at the loadout here. Well, we'll go ahead and put in 56 or 50% in fuel, which when I put 50% fuel in here, it equates to a numerical value of 40. So I'm guessing that is gallons, because, you know, there's 20 gallons in each tank, so that's got to be gallons right there. Now, what's interesting is to keep my payload, if I put everything in the baggage, all 258 pounds in the baggage compartment, it's going to make the airplane going to go like this. So what I have to do is I have to even it out. And also too, when I put in the passenger, or the pilot, which is me, the fat guy, 215 pounds, that's what that doesn't count against it. But from the co-pilot all the way to the rear right passenger, all of that is all considered the payload. So if I really want to get real even about it, which would kind of break the immersion factor, but if I go 258 divided by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 places, divided by 6, that's 43 gallons, or 43 pounds. So I would put 43 pounds and 43 pounds and 43 pounds all the way. And what that will do is that'll keep the airplane on the level, which is what we want, really. But realistically, you'd probably have 100 pounds in one and 100 pounds in, whoops, I just went too far there. 43, there we go. So now I have dispersed it out, so now it's even weight, and now our payloads, including my weight, is 58%, and then the fuel is set up and ready to go. So now we have basically set up this flight to be able to now I could have, I guess I could just take this and scroll this to 470 and it would have done them evenly instead of me doing it by hand evenly. Either way, I could have scrolled this up until I got approximately the payload weight that we need, which is 258 pounds. But now that I've got the payload weight at 258 pounds that we need, now when I come back over here to actually start the flight, we get this.
Transporter from dispatch. Good morning. The cargo mission will start as soon as you get on your plane in the parking.
So it thinks that I'm not in a plane yet, and which I will as soon as I turn this on. Okay. Now if I'll go ahead and start the engine, now it's going to accept. Actually, I can put the parking brake on. There, parking brake's on. Now start the engine.
Transporter form dispatch. Loading cargo. Please stand by.
So now I'll turn it off. See, I had to start the engine in order for it to acknowledge that that I'm ready to go. The developer might come up with some kind of solution where maybe when you turn on.
Transporter from dispatch. The cargo is on board. You are clear to taxi to the runway and take off.
Okay, so now we're ready to go. So as far as the NeoFly, our NeoFly is concerned, we're ready to go. We're ready to make some money. But I think what the developer needs to do is maybe the developer needs to have it by turning on starting the engine maybe, or come up with some other kind of solution, or maybe in the thing itself where you're ready to start and you hit the start button and it'll start, instead of just connecting to the client or with the sim. Maybe have some kind of start button and then you would start loading. So then that way you won't be having to start the engine in order for the initiate the action to start loading up the passengers with the cargo. Just an idea. But anyway, now we'll go ahead and start the engine for real. Well, real as it gets, I guess you could say. So now we're good to go here. They're all happy. I got green, green, green on everything. You can see if you go back over here, you'll see that everything here in the connection status is all green. So we are ready to go on that side. And I'll go ahead and put everything else on. And I'm just going to hand fly over there. So we'll just go ahead and do this VFR flight. Yada, yada, yada.
23, 2.10. Altimeter tree 0.01. Visual runway 24 in use. Landing and departing runway 24. DSR aircraft, say direction of flight. All aircraft read back hold short instructions. Advise controller, on initial contact, you have Oscar.
I have Oscar, but I need to know what the, I didn't catch the altimeter setting.
1226 at 4. Visibility, tree. Sky conditions.
This is an L71, by the way.
1,100 feet, few clouds. At 4,200 feet, few clouds. At 12,500 feet. Temperature, 23, 2.10. Altimeter tree, 0.01.
3001.
Runway 24 in use. Landing and departing runway 24. DSR aircraft, say direction of flight.
Yeah.
All aircraft read back hold short instructions.
Okie dokie. So, said 301, eh? So there's 301 right there. We're going to be departing to the north.
Fox Ground, Beechcraft, November 502, Delta Mike with Kilo request taxi for takeoff north departure.
Thought it was Oscar.
Beechcraft, November 502, Delta Mike taxi to and hold short of runway 24 via taxiway Alpha. Contact tower on 118.525 when ready.
There we go. And I better acknowledge.
Taxiing hold short runway 24 via taxiway Alpha Beechcraft to Delta Mike.
Supposed to say Sierra Flyer. Doesn't have a very sharp turn, I'll tell you that. Barely hear the engines now. As I'm over speeding like crazy. Alrighty, we're going to assume we went ahead and went through the process of run-ups, and we'll assume the run-up is complete and ready to go. And there, well, that's unusual, I never saw that. I must have some kind of helper thing on or something. You know, I try to get rid of all those helper things. Sorry about that. Let me fix that real quick. We went hard level, hard level, hard level, navigation age, hard level, user experience, hard level, true to life. That's what we want. Yes, 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 yes. Okay. Everything looks fine there. We went hardcore, buddy. Now this, except for the only thing I wanted was points of interest. That'd be the only thing I'd want on. So that way I know what's there, because I have no idea. Okay. We don't want that. Okay. Let's take off. After I tell the tower we're taking off.
Fox Tower Beechcraft, November 502, Delta Mike ready at runway 24 departure to the north.
Beechcraft, November 502, Delta Mike cleared for takeoff runway 24 north departure approved.
Alrighty.
Cleared for takeoff runway 24 Beechcraft to Delta Mike.
Okie dokie. Said I'm clear to takeoff. Can't see anything. One notch of flaps. Let's go. Full stream ahead. Damn the torpedoes. All that are happy stuff. I think this has, yeah, it does. It has cowling flaps. Okay, let's get back on the runway again. Aren't you glad I'm not carrying any passengers?
Transporter from dispatch. Fly safe.
Fly safe. You can tell that's what I do. I fly safe. All right. And if I'll just jump this over here real quick, you can see there's KWJF. They're making our spinner, our turnaround here. And then we'll...
Beechcraft 2 Delta Mike continue for north departure. I will contact you next when you leave my airspace.
Well, alrighty. Thank you very much.
Fox Tower Beechcraft November 502 Delta Mike continue for north departure.
So let's go on around. We're going to follow the 14 freeway and right on over to California City. The airplane feels like it wants to fall like a rock. It doesn't want to just, you know, set down gently. It could be me. I do have a 5-knot crosswind, according to the PFD. Flaps are fully extended, gear down. Still falling like a rock. Trying to dip my wing a little bit. Okay, frame rates, don't do this to me. Well, he just wants me to veer off the runway, didn't it?
Transporter from dispatch. Nice landing. Go to the next parking and put your parking brake on. I'll be in touch.
She'll be in touch, she says. Okay. Well, yeah, it wasn't the best landing in the world. That's for sure. And we'll go down here and land, or offload. All right. Set parking
Transporter
brake.
from dispatch. Okay, nice job. Someone is coming to take the cargo. I'll call you when it's done.
You gotta have our sound effects.
Transporter from dispatch. Cargo unloaded and checked. It is always a pleasure to work with you.
Yes, it is. Always. Alrighty, so we are complete here. So we go to the log, and there is our job. And now we need to go L71, and I will fly back. But I will fly that a different time because we need to wrap up. This video is long enough with everything. So I definitely appreciate you guys watching on this one. Definitely like, subscribe, and if you feel my content is worthy, I do have some donation links in the description down below. And hope these tips and tricks of NeoFly has helped you make your decision if you want to play around with this or not. Because like I said, it's pretty cool. It's a pretty cool thing. I think it's good. I think it'll be a good addition to Microsoft Flight Simulator. And hey, we'll just have to see how it flies. So anyway, you guys take care and catch you next time. Bye, guys.